Let me give you an analogy. You see the water in the ocean or river. We have all kind of waves, and if you dive deep down underneath of the ocean, it's so calm, it's so pure, it's so peaceful. Well, on the surface, we always have the waves. So there's the mind. When we have mental afflictions, anxiety, depression, and so forth, that's like the waves. So let's say someone criticize you, like they blow the wind to the surface of the waters. That's make the wave. But deep down there, it's peaceful and calm. That's what we call the Buddha nature. So when we recognize that kind of nature, we could recognize we have that ability to live with that. For example, compassion, loving kindness, impartial views toward other people. So those are the characteristics of Buddha nature in everyone's, regardless of the tradition we follow. Only when we were blown by the winds of criticism or praising, that turn our mind upside down. It's like the wave on the surface of the oceans. Water is still water.
Yes.
The waves is up and down. It's like the wave of our emotions. Go up when someone praises us, go down when someone puts us down. But water is still water. Compassion is still compassion. Kindness is still kindness. Deep down, everyone, even animals, dog, cat, and so forth, they may rescue their own owners. Talking about humans. So that is why we talk about Buddha nature, Krishna nature, that within every one of us, every sentient beings. Because we could not control our mind. That's why we are turned, we are distorted by this kind of winds. We were blown by this kind of winds. That's why we have the emotional problems every moment of our life. But if we calm down our mind, regardless of the winds, we still who we are. We still have ability to spread that Buddha nature as compassionate nature and kind nature toward everyone else. So that's the water. That's the true sense of Buddha nature that win everyone. It's really basic, and it's be approachable for everyone. We start with the breath. The breath is the source of our life. Most of times we look outwardly, think, oh, our job is so important, our car, our house, and so forth. Yes, they are the one that we need to live. That's necessary for us. But if we depend upon them so much, we get lost ourselves. And that's why we need to recognize the source of our life is our breath. How to get back to the source of our Buddha nature, wisdom nature, our calmness, our peacefulness through the breath is so simple. We recognize that the breath is the source of our life. It's so important. More than food, more than water, more than houses, more than any material lives. We take things for granted that now we're still healthy, we can breathe in and out easily, but when we get older, we will not have that much chance. That's why we need to cherish the moment that we still have this capability to breathe in and out. So when we breathe in and out, we would follow it naturally. We don't manipulate our breath. We don't try to control our breath. The breath can train us to be compassionate. We can use the breath to train ourselves to be non-judgmental, to accept the way we are. So when we inhale, we recognize. When we exhale, we recognize. We don't judge on our breath because everything starts from here, from the mind. So when we train ourselves, when we have inhalation, we recognize our breath that's coming to our body without any kind of judgment. We just accept the way that we have that kind of inhalation. Again, when we have exhalation, we accept how the breath come out naturally. So when we inhale, exhale, we accept that kind of breath naturally. So we make peace with ourselves. We don't use any force physically. So we relax ourselves, and we don't force our mind to control our breath. So we're stress free. Right there, if you recognize that special or unique techniques that train our mind to be at ease, to accept the way our breath is. In and out, we have inhalation, exhalation, we accept them. Inhalation, exhalation, we accept them. So peaceful. We don't make any judgments. That's why when we have that kind of mind training, eventually it's easy for us to accept who we are. We don't compare because everyone has different views. Everyone has different approach of life. Everyone has different situations. So we cannot compare with ourselves with others. So that's why it's easy for us to make peace with ourselves. Stop with the breath. If you practice only a few minutes a day, you can ground yourself instead of be blown by the wind. Simple. It takes a couple of minutes. For people nowadays, especially young people, they may spend hours and hours on internet, or games, or chatting and so forth. But sometimes they say, "Oh, I don't have a couple of minutes." That's just unreasonable. I used to guide people to do meditation, especially beginners. Just start with a minute. We may increase into 2 minutes. And if we really focus on that 2 minutes, we increase by 3 and 4 and so forth. But with my own experience, we stay within only 3 minutes. If we go beyond 4 and 5, sometimes our mind would go to the moon. If you could train your mind only a few minutes a day, it's be helpful. Because when you have that kind of mind training internally, when you deal with the situation, when you deal with other people, it's the same approach. And you get used to that type of approach. Sometimes it's not easy, but still, it needs to be trained. Alright, so let's start with 1 minute first.
Okay.
The idea is to watch your breath naturally. Don't try to control your breath. Don't try to judge your breath. Whether it's long or short, deep or shallow, just follow your breath. And of course, it's easy to get lost because we have all kinds of things in our mind. So we start with our counting. So when we have inhale 1 and exhale, we count 1. Inhale, exhale, count 2. Inhale, exhale, count 3. Naturally. Right? It's just imagine that we stay in front of the door. We will come in, we know. We will get out the door, we know. That's all. We don't need to pull them in or push them out. Just stand there and recognize our breath. So let me hit the bell. For 1 minute, just count. Don't think anything. Just be mindful of your breath, inhalation, exhalation. Let's start with the 1 minute. Just 1 minute. Okay. If you really focus on that 1 minute, nothing bother your mind. And if you really focus on that 1 minute, yeah, you can add 1 more minute. And that's the mind training. Because when we really focus on that mind training, the breath, meditation, the other thought would not bother us. Of course, you can hear the background sounds or noises or some kind of image, pictures, and so forth. But eventually, when we ground ourselves down with that breath, we would have the kind of peaceful and calmness. Okay. All right. Good. Okay, that's 2 minutes, but quick. If we really focus on breath meditation, our breath, if we really aware of our breath, nothing bother us. And if you really focus on that 2 minutes, you add 1 more up to 10 and so forth. And you don't need to pay anything. That's there for you. If you know how to use, that's your own medicine. You are your own psychologist. And it's simple. You don't need to be Buddhist. You don't need to go to temple. Everywhere you can do practice of meditation. Whoever you are, you can practice meditation. This is not for the Buddhists. This is not our privilege, but for everyone's, because that's there. Everyone's have that breath.